Thank you.
Uh, it seemed like Sunday when we talked to you after the UCLA game, you seemed really upbeat for a coach that had just taken a third straight loss. Did you feel a level of confidence coming out of that game that, even though you didn't get the result you wanted, that maybe then you saw your team play with that level of confidence tonight?
I thought that game, obviously, we weren't ourselves against Northwestern. And the most important thing was for us to be ourselves against UCLA. I felt like we did that. Now, we didn't, whatever, right? We didn't score enough. Okay. We gave up a couple extra offensive rebounds, but, we let them score. I think it was 14 points with 6 seconds or less in the shot clock. But we fought, we were together, we battled. And that was the most important thing coming out of that Northwestern game. So the fact that we did that, I felt gave us an opportunity to get ready and get this win against a team that we knew we were going to get their best shot.
Um, the way you shot the ball in this game, especially in the first half, I assume you're probably telling your guys like, listen, we're probably not going to hit 80% of our shots in the second half. The defense is going to come into play here. How much were you emphasizing that to your guys that like, listen, we're going to have to play with a level of toughness in the second half because we're probably not going to shoot that well again?
Well, Adam, you know me well enough right now to know that I'm not going to put any negative stuff in that room. So if we wanted to go out there and shoot another 8 for 9, I would have taken that. But I think the biggest thing for us was we had to continue to play through the paint. If you saw, right, it felt like at least live, a lot of our really good shots came off of paint touches. And we got some of those good looks against UCLA. We just didn't knock them down. And there was a stretch in the second half where we didn't play through the paint enough. But I thought, we were able to get to the free throw line. We were able to finish some things inside and get just enough stops. We weren't right. They had some really good offense going in the second, just really physical downhill playing through the paint. So I thought that was more the message. We got to keep being really physical. I was more disappointed that we gave up the shooting percentage we did in the first half. And then obviously second half wasn't what we wanted to do either, but we did enough. This team, we listen, it took everything. It was against my DNA to take the day off after the UCLA game. And we didn't go on a basketball court. We spent our time, with an active recovery. I just felt like everything we had been through the last couple of weeks, guys banged up, guys sick. We needed that time to utilize the time in between to get as healthy as we could heading into this game. And I thought our guys, we had multiple guys, play 30 minutes and they show great toughness and great fight. And so, you just got to find a way, Adam, I guess, this time of year. And we were able to do it.
All right, we'll go Andy Enders and Patrick Ingles. Andy.
Yeah, I don't know if the play was drawn specifically for him or if there were multiple actions off of it, but Devin Royal, last minute there, it's a tie ball game at 80 after USC had come back. Just what in that moment was the look that you wanted to get for him? And then just talk about his ability to finish and convert a huge play there to get the lead that was ultimately the game winning.
Yeah. You talking about the one where he drove to the right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe eight
yeah.
for 80. Yeah.
So we wanted to get the ball to him. Felt like he could get an advantage if he could get down to that right hand, and we had the spacing. I like the spacing we had. I think Devin deserves a ton of credit. He couldn't get in a rhythm all night. The foul trouble. Tried to get him a chance to play with two in the first half. Picked up that offensive foul, but he stayed with it. So if you saw at the end of the game, we had multiple guys with the ball in their hands. Judy had it in his hand some. Bruce had it in his hand some. And Devin, as well. So I thought our execution was good, especially in our press break. You got to get the ball in bounds. You got to execute well. I thought our guys did a really good job with that.
You mentioned the free throw shooting, just 22 of 26 at the foul line tonight, and it was critical to kind of holding on there in the late moments, even if there was one or two misses there. Just what does it say about maybe the mental toughness, and you'd always talk about the fight in this team to have the mental wherewithal to be successful at the foul line?
Yeah, I think we're built for it. And I mean, obviously, right, we went through a stretch where we struggled to make some shots there last couple of games, but I just told our guys, like, we're going to make them, and that's where we needed, I think, ultimately, needed that day to really get a chance to recover. And, this is a group that I just believe we're built for these moments. And that's the way I look at it. That's the way we talk around here. So they know I believe them. And, I want them to play with confidence. We don't play safe. We don't play not to lose. We play to win. And when you're in that moment, step up, knock it down. And Devin's proven, Bruce has proven, like these guys have proven to be really clutch, right? And we've had plenty of practice in these situations throughout the course of the year.
I will go Patrick Ingles. Patrick.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it before, but there's been a lot of games, I guess, previous to this season that have been this way, but gone the other result, and you guys have ended up losing at the end. I guess, like, what do you think was like the main difference tonight, and I guess getting this win and compared to other ones where you fell short?
Well, I think you get hardened as you go through stuff like that, right? You get every little bit of experience, can help if you continue the right mindset and mentality and confidence. I was really happy with our execution. Even our press break execution was really good. And so it's something we've worked on all season long, even going back into the summer. I wish I wasn't right, but I anticipated being in a ton of close games, and we've gotten better at those as the year's gone on. And you guys know how this goes. Probably won't be the last one. So we got to continue to execute, fix things together, be really tough defensively. And, I believe in our free throw shooting.
All right, we'll
Yeah,
finish
and then,
up with that.
sorry, Derek had one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about Colin. Like, you put him in at the end for a good amount, really at the end, big time free throw shooting time. I guess, like, what kind of trust did you have in Colin to put him in those critical situations?
Obviously a lot of trust in him. He's tough and he's won, he's a winner. And how about his ability to stay ready? I just felt like we needed a little bit more size with the size of their perimeter players and the switching we were doing. And so that was kind of the mindset. And then when we put him in against the press, I wanted his kind of speed and ability to get open if we needed it. And so great deal of trust in him.
All right, now we'll jump to Hellwagon and then Jardy. Steve.
You're muted, Steve.
Okay. Just given the way the last week and a half's gone, all the flu, everything else that's happened, the 3 tough losses and everything else, the plane flight out there had to be probably pretty miserable after, those 2 losses. And then what do you think this will be like going back? And what do you think this is going to do for you guys to get you ready for the stretch here, the last 2 games that, are really figuring to be pretty important?
Yeah, well, we've talked about it a lot. We've earned the right to play in these meaningful games and in this time of year, and that's really, really important. Steve, there had to be we had to take ownership, right, of some of those performances, and we did, but then we had to move on. The one thing I don't believe in, it's one thing to be upset and angry that you lost, but you can't mope around, you can't pout. You got to, like, these games, this league, every game is critical this time of year. And so you got to get ready for the next one. So we owned what we did wrong, and then we moved our focus to the next one. So it wasn't like a sour mood on the plane. It wasn't right. Guys were hungry to get back. That's why we played with that hunger and fight against UCLA. There was a mentality, about us. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine though, Steve, a lot of guys are going to be sleeping on that flight home tomorrow. Go ahead, Adam.
Getting Aaron back, can you kind of walk us through the logistics of that? And I know he was obviously limited what he could give you, but he did kind of spark you a little bit. I know he hit a shot or two and, gave you a little bit on the glass. What was it like getting him back and then getting him a couple of minutes?
Yeah, I mean, again, he had to fly out here, commercial late, couldn't come with the team because, he was sick and hasn't really, he didn't have a full practice, but he showed great fight and just readiness. And he and I talked before the game, and he's like, Coach, I'm going to give you what I got. Probably won't be a lot, but when I'm in there, and you saw this, he asked to come out a couple times. So I'm just proud of his fight and toughness. And he gave us some great stuff. I thought Junie again has shown a great deal of toughness. He's been battling stuff, like multiple guys have. So just really, really proud of the toughness of this group.
Can you tell us a little more about what the prep was like leading into this? You said you took a day off. Like, which day off did you take, and what kind of prep did you have for this game?
Yeah, so we didn't, we had scheduled a gym to go to the day after UCLA. We did not go to the gym. Instead, we did an active recovery, some pool stuff, some extra soft tissue work, utilized the resources we had here at the hotel, and our performance team was great, guys. I know I've talked about them throughout the course of the year, but we're so blessed here at Ohio State. We got unbelievable resources, and so it was all hands on deck. But it wasn't a, hey, take the day off. Don't, we won't see it. It was, there were meetings, right? We watched film. We walked through some stuff in preparation for USC, and then spent a lot of time doing an active recovery. We chose not to. Again, it was like my initial thought was we need to get out there and grind a practice after loss, but you got to trust your instincts, and it was validated by our staff. I mean, it was just, they agreed is what we needed to do. So that gave me all the confidence to say this was going to be the best thing to give us our best chance to be ready for tonight.
And then looking at the second half overall, Bruce got to the line several times and was able to hit some big free throws late for you. They kind of forced him into some more difficult looks. He was 0-6 in the second half, and they put some size on him. What was it like trying to scheme for that and come up with counters and things to how they were guarding him in the second half? Because it seemed like the size impacted you guys a little bit on the perimeter.
Yeah, well, I thought he should have shot a few more free throws, to be honest with you. And they were funneling him into the lane, and putting size on him to try and make those shots. He got some really good looks that he made in the first half. But I thought he was an absolute warrior, and I thought Junie played with great poise in the paint. Like I thought our paint decisions were really good. The ball was moving, bodies were moving on the perimeter. Our pace in the half court was good for the most part. Slowed down a little bit there in the second half, but I think Bruce led the way with just his toughness, getting to the free throw line and being clutch.
All right, Coach, thanks.
You guys go get some sleep. All right. Appreciate you staying up. All right. Thanks.
I'll try. Thanks, Jake.
All right.
Thank you, Jake.
All right, fellas, thank you again for hanging out late.
Monday.
Yeah, we're flying back tomorrow. We'll get back tomorrow night, and then I'm sure they'll take at least a day or so off, and then Monday he'll do his radio show again, and then we'll do normal interview at 1:00 in the interview room.
That's good.
Get on that to preview Nebraska. All right.
Right.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah. Hey, thanks again for hanging out.
Of course.
All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. See you guys in a bit.